Listen again when WDAF and your Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools present another School Note.
Stay tuned for the CBS Radio Mystery Theatre following ABC News at the top of the hour. It's 11 o'clock. This is WDAF, Kansas City.
Of the hour, on the hour, from American Information Radio. This is George Caldwell from New York, and at this hour, Vice President Gerald Ford says if the Senate Watergate Committee would reduce the size of its request for presidential documents, the White House might be willing to compromise. The committee is seeking hundreds of papers and tapes. Former Attorney General Elliot Richardson sides with President Nixon in his refusal. In McLean, Virginia, Richardson explains.
I think the committee seems to me to have cast its net too widely. They haven't, so far as I know, made what I would regard as a sufficiently clear showing of why they wanted what they've asked for. And I think the president is entitled at least to request that they make such a showing before he produces any tapes or documents.
Former Attorney General Elliot Richardson. Hope for changes in Arab oil policy. That story coming up.
Drums. Drums. Are they drums for peace or war, dance or destruction? Like America drums or hate America drums? This is Martin Gable to tell you that you can help influence the beat. Young people in the developing countries of South America, of Africa, of Asia are eager to find out more about America, to understand our people and our ideas. You can help through Freedom House Books USA. $6 sends a packet of 10 books to a young student, maybe a future prime minister, maybe a future doctor or teacher. He can choose from 120 books. Books on history, biography, science, and literature. The Russians send thousands of publications to him, but you, with your $6, can help inspire a love for freedom. Send your tax-deductible contribution to Freedom House Books USA, 20 West 40th Street, New York, New York, 10018.
Energy Director William Simon says he's now hopeful Arab oil producers will not only end their price increases, but roll back oil prices. But Simon predicts even if the Arab embargo on U.S. shipments ends, American consumers still face shortages. An Egyptian official in Washington today defended the oil cutoff. Ambassador Ashraf Gorbal tells newsmen,
oil was meant only to ring a bell wide and clear in every door, in America and in the world, that we too are human beings. We too are suffering. And we have been suffering for the past 25 years.
Gorbal is to be the Egyptian ambassador to the U.S. when diplomatic relations are restored. Gorbal was on the CBS program Face the Nation. Heavy rains have fallen throughout the day in Los Angeles. Forecasters predict more rain. It has set off mudslides, especially in the Topanga Canyon, 40 miles northwest of Los Angeles. However, there's one proposal for making good use of the weather. Correspondent Ann Kestner has details from Los Angeles.
Here in California, there are those who are talking about tower power as an alternative during the energy crisis. The term refers to windmills atop towers on rooftops. Solomon Kagan, a young Guerneville, California businessman, is selling such windmills, which he imports from Australia. If the wind's blowing, the windmills, which cost $1,000 and up, can generate enough electricity to power homes much of the time. Extra power churned up by the wind generators can be stored in special batteries, good for 3 windless days. Ann Kestner, ABC News, Los Angeles.
11 people were killed tonight at Johnstown, Pennsylvania, when an Allegheny commuter flight from Pittsburgh crashed just 100 feet short of a runway. The 6 survivors of Allegheny 317 are in critical condition. The co-pilot is among the survivors. The plane, a Beech 99, struck approach lights recently installed to aid pilots making landings in bad weather at Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Country and Western singer Tex Ritter was buried today at Port Neches, Texas. Ritter died of a heart attack Wednesday at age 67. This is Information Radio News.
From the Kurt Murray Sports Desk, the Kansas City Omaha Kings hope to be hosts for the National Basketball Association All-Star Game in 1975 or 1977. If the Kings are successful, the game will be played in Kansas City. General Manager Joe Axelson says he hopes to trade dates with Milwaukee or Phoenix so the All-Star contest can be played in the new sports complex. The arena is slated to open with the beginning of the 1974-75 basketball season. The Atlanta Flames of the National Hockey League acquired veteran center Brian Hextall today from the waiver list. He is the second Pittsburgh Penguin acquired by the Flames in the last few days. Earlier, the Flames traded for Al McDonough. Southwest Missouri captured the Missouri Intercollegiate Athletic Association basketball tournament crown by defeating previously unbeaten Lincoln University 80-75. Dennis Hill and Randy Major each scored 21 points for the victorious Bears, while Lincoln center Lamont Pruitt had 30 points. Northwest Missouri took third place in the tourney with a 70-68 triumph over the University of Missouri at Rolla. About 400 cheering, pennant-waving fans greeted the AFC champion Miami Dolphins today as they arrived in Houston to begin final drills for next Sunday's Super Bowl against Minnesota. As the crowd mounted to await the Dolphins' arrival, security police tried to move people behind a chain-link fence, but at least one man was immovable. He was Howard Twilley Sr., father of Dolphin receiver Howard Twilley. The fireworks begin Saturday in the Big 8 Conference basketball race. All 8 teams will be involved in their first family feuding of the 1973-74 campaign. The Kansas City forecast, fair and very cold for the rest of tonight, the low 5 to 10 below zero. Mostly sunny and continued cold Monday, the high 10 to 15 degrees. Partly cloudy and not as cold Monday night and Tuesday, the low Monday night 0 to 5 above, the high Tuesday around 20. Currently 4 degrees under mostly cloudy skies in Kansas City. This is Pat Ross, WDAF News.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theatre presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the sound of suspense. Welcome to the fear you can hear, but mostly to the world of terrifying imagination. In the story you're about to hear, the heroine is a young woman of 77 who has reached her golden years with her sense of independence intact, with a spryness to her limbs, very good vision, and excellent hearing. But as you are about to learn, there are times when hearing well is not a blessing.
I did it, Mrs. Canby. Are you listening to me? I killed Richardson.
Oh.
I did it. Me.
No. I don't want to hear it. Mr. Polson, please. Please don't tell me about it. Please.
Our mystery drama, The Old Ones Are Hard to Kill, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Henry Slessor and stars Agnes Moorehead. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll return shortly with Act One.
When you say Bud, you've said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say Bud, you've gone as far as you can go to get the very best.
Why do some people think Bud is sort of special? Go ahead and find out why. Brewing beer right does make a difference.
When you say Bud, you tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say Bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
I guess you can hear the music in the background. It's now 7:45. You hear the piano player playing, and we're down the floor of the Waldorf Astoria, and I'm going to talk to some people. Your name, sir?
Biagio Canty, Grandview, Missouri, originally from the Bronx, New York.
Oh. Have you ever been to a dinner theater before?
No, I haven't.
How was the service?
Wonderful.
You look like you're enjoying yourself.
I sure am.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the show.
Now playing at Waldo Astoria, The Boyfriend. Call 756-1212.
I guess you can hear the music in the background. It's now 7:45. You hear the piano player playing, and we're down the floor of the Waldo Astoria, and I'm going to talk to some people. We have here what looks like a fun-loving table. What's your name?
Pat Blue.
Where are you from, Pat?
Kansas City.
From Kansas City. And your first trip to the Waldorf Astoria, what do you think of it?
I think it's great.
Have you ever been to Tiffany's Attic?
Once.
Did you like it?
Yes.
You plan on coming back?
Yes, I sure do.
Thank you.
Now playing The Boyfriend. Call 756-1212.
And now, here's Act One of The Old Ones Are Hard to Kill. It begins with a stethoscope, a blood pressure reading, an electrocardiogram, and an altogether satisfying report on the health of Mrs. Ada Canby.
Well, can't see a thing to complain about, Ada. That little congestion you had last time is all cleared up. All in all, I'd say you're doing fine.
For a woman my age, you mean, huh?
The older the chicken, the tougher it is to kill. That's what my grandmother used to tell me, and she lived to be 98. Speaking of relatives, you see much of Walter?
My grandson? Oh, the usual once-a-year visit. And he always comes up with the same complaint.
What's that?
That I shouldn't be living all alone.
That big house of yours must get pretty lonely sometimes.
Well, the truth is, Dr. George, I'm not alone there.
You're not?
I decided to take in the boarder last month.
Really?
I haven't written Walter about it. I'm sure he'd object to my taking in a stranger, but there's really nothing wrong with Mr. Paulson, except his health, maybe.
His health? What's wrong with him?
Oh, the poor man's had a terrible cold for the past 2 weeks. Won't let me do a thing for him, though.
Now, where did you meet this Mr. Paulson?
He answered the ad I ran. He's just back from South America. Been living in Brazil for years. He's a very nice gentleman, really. He keeps himself and tends his birds. He has the loveliest blue parakeets. You can hear them chirping all over the house. Oh, it's the friendliest sound.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with what you're doing, Ada. Just make sure you don't go and catch the man's cold.
Well, there's not much chance of that. Poor man hardly ever leaves his room. Well, how much do I owe you?
I'll send you the bill.
I'm sure you'll forget all about it. Promise me you'll send it. Oh, dear. Mr. Paulson? Are you all right?
Yes, Mrs. Canby. I'm all right.
That cough sounds worse than ever to me. Why don't you let me fix you a little hot milk and honey?
No, thank you, Mrs. Canby. Thanks very much. I'm going to try to get some sleep.
Well, all right, if you say so. I guess it's time I was in bed myself. Oh, my, listen to that poor man. I wonder if he keeps his birds awake, too.
Mrs. Canby, please, please.
For heaven's sake, is he calling me?
Mrs. Canby!
He is calling me. I'm coming, Mr. Paulson. Oh, no. Where are those darn slippers? I'll be right there. What is it, Mr. Paulson? What's the matter?
Mrs. Canby.
Mr. Paulson, just look at you. Why didn't you tell me you were so sick? I would have called a doctor.
No, too late now. Too late.
I know a very good doctor. I saw him only this afternoon. I'll go and call him right now.
No, please, listen to me.
Well, I've got to get help for you, Mr. Paulson.
I'm dying. Confession.
Well, do you want a priest? Is that what you want?
Richardson murdered 10 years ago.
What?
Murder. I did it. I killed him for money. I was paid. Did you hear me?
Oh, Lord. Mr. Paulson, do you know what you're saying?
Do you understand me? Lindell is innocent. I killed Richardson, not Lindell.
Well, let me get help. You You can tell them yourself, Mr. Paulson, and the police and the doctor.
You tell them, please. Tell them to free Lindell. He's innocent. Tell them I'm the one who killed Richardson 10 years ago.
I don't know anything about such things, and I don't want to.
I did it. I killed Richardson. I did it.
I don't